Dynamic stretching, the best way to prepare your body for movement. Hello again, welcome to the Live Long podcast and our Move for Life series. Short episodes with Nate Wilkins and Shebah Carfagna where we focus on the basics. In this episode, why moving before we work out sets us up for strength, flexibility and longevity.
Dynamic stretching is stretching that you do that prepares the body to mimic the motions that you will be performing in exercise. So you want to do dynamic stretching initially to raise the body temperature, to get the body moving, the synovial fluid and all of your muscles going. And also it's just good for the body to do that. And dynamic stretching is good all of the time.
It's a non-negotiable for peak performance, right? It helps with your joint mobility. So it's not the same thing as, say, static stretching. It's that kind of stretching that you do to move the body and prepare it. And I use that a lot of times in my boot camp classes. I'm like, we got to do about 10 to 15 minutes of just movement, different directions.
And you need that complete movement to fully warm up the body and get the body going. Recent studies show that dynamic stretching gives you joint lubrication, flow, and really gets you ready for the exercise, the work, the body, what we call the body of work going forward.
It helps to sort of warm up the synovial fluid in the body. It gets you flowing. And so if you're like anything like me and you move a little bit because you're stiff from whatever, it gets you going long before you need to, if you're going to use weights, you pick up those weights and you're better able to offset injuries.
And this is crucial, isn't it? Because of our daily movement, this is often the movement that people will skip or ignore.
It is crucially important not to do that because you can reduce the risk of injury 7 to 10% by doing an effective warm-up and this dynamic stretching. And you don't want to miss that. Obviously, the most important thing at any age is to reduce injury, but you don't want to get hurt and you want to go full range of motion. So the dynamic stretching, again, prepares the body for full range of motion.
Absolutely.
Better execution of the exercises, more efficient and execution.
Particularly for active aging or aging adults, it is almost vital that you put dynamic stretching in your program as compared to static stretching.
It's good for balance, gait, all of those things.
So where do we start? And I guess it does depend on the kind of exercise you're just about to do.
It's an overall body stretch. So if you're at a beginning level, we can, your stretches would be probably the same as someone who's a little more advanced, but at a modification, because everyone needs that dynamic stretching, which should be done just about every time you warm up. So you can begin very simple arm circles, lifting the knees and the arms, moving multiple body parts. And so you want to get that multi-joint function going and raise the body temperature. Again, you're looking for range of motion, to maintain range of motion, and you can't do that even on a bicep curl without an effective warm-up of the arms, including the deltoids, the shoulders, right here, your delts, your shoulders, your scapula, your bis, okay, and all the parts of the bis and the three heads of the triceps and the extensors. You need to do that warm-up. That's why when you see boxers warm up, they shadow box. It's a constant shadow boxing movement before they put their gloves on, and that is a great example of dynamic stretching. It is a great opportunity for dynamic stretching.
It helps again with balance, and I know we're going to get into balance, but it engages all of those things long before you have to really put them to work. It's sort of messaging to the brain, and we talked about the brain and the body connection.
And a big part of this, of course, is injury prevention.
Job one. We always talk about safety first, but definitely job one, injury prevention, that you want to make sure that your body is nice and warm before you do lifting weights. And even, I think sometimes when people think about going into the gym to perhaps use weights or machines, they can just jump right into it. We don't recommend that. We recommend that you warm that body up with dynamic stretching.
And in terms of our daily mindset, is dynamic stretching valuable to us, even if it isn't a gym day? So we might get up in the morning and are planning to go to work, to prepare breakfast, just get on with your day. Is it valuable still to do 5 minutes of dynamic stretching?
For sure, for sure. It increases blood flow, raises the body temperature, the lubrication of the joints, which is so important as you get older. You never want to jam the joints. We say you want to go 99% and make that joint just to the very end. Because a lot of injuries is because of joint damage, nerve damage, regular aging process, which includes arthritis. And so that warm up, even for someone like me, who now requires another hip replacement, is so critical to where you want to be to perform the exercises. And so that warm up and that messaging to my brain will better prepare me for the surgery that's ahead.
How many minutes should we allocate to this, do you think?
You suggested 5 minutes. I've actually, in my classes, Peter, I've actually incorporated somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. And because we're older, it's like, I don't want to say this, but like an older car sometimes, it takes longer to warm the body up. And so I just want to make sure that it's really to a place where we can avoid injuries. So I spend about 10 or 15 minutes and different movements, whether it's reaching or turning or lunging, air squats, just any number of ways that we can move the body. And I'm a big proponent of rotation to get the body
Right.
going. I mean, that's what I recommend. Some just get in about 5 minutes, and I'm finding that for me at 70 plus, 5 minutes, if I'm in a rush, that might work. But if I can spend more time, I feel much better.
And studies show that 5 to 7 minutes of aerobic activity for younger people is wonderful. If you're over 50, I'd recommend you go 7 to 10 in a half an hour situation. When I teach online, it's a 30-minute class. We do 10 minutes of warm up, 15 minutes of intense body work in a HIIT class and a low impact HIIT class. And then we end with 10 minutes of stretching at the end. It never works that way because everyone's excited. So, you only get in about 5 minutes.
Well, you've just preempted my next question. You say everyone's excited. In terms of mindset, when you're getting into that 5 to 7 minutes of initial stretching, how does it make you feel? How does it affect your attitude towards what's to come in terms of your exercise?
Well, it prepares you for what's next. It allows the endorphins to get warmed up in your mind. And it's something you look forward to because you're feeling like kind of stiff when you go in. Everyone, I don't care what age you are, feeling kind of stiff. That movement allows you to prepare for what's ahead, which is an everyday activity of daily living. You need to prepare for what's ahead. So when you get out of bed, you're stretching. Before your workout, you're stretching, before you go to dinner. All day long, that movement is so critical, especially if you have a job or a situation where you're sitting all day. If you're sedentary, every hour, we recommend for our clients to get up every hour just to move around and walk around, go outside, get some fresh air, to move that body, which in some sense is not necessarily dynamic stretching, but it's somewhere between and keeping that body constantly moving.
So dynamic stretching gets your body ready to move by warming up muscles, increasing circulation and improving flexibility. It primes you for better performance while reducing your risk of injury. The Live Long podcast is a HealthSpan media production. I'm Peter Bowes. You can contact me through our website, livelongpodcast.com, where you'll also find show notes for this episode.
This podcast is for informational, educational and entertainment purposes only. We do not offer medical advice. If you have health concerns of any kind, or you are considering adopting a new diet or exercise regime, you should first consult your doctor.